Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cristal's Life. Today we're doing a very special video that's near and dear to my heart because we are going to be making Dominican food. Specifically, we're going to be making MANGU, los tres golpes. I'm so excited to make this dish. If you want to learn how to make it and what steps it takes, keep on watching. So I'm going to be making this recipe as easy as I can for you guys, because it can get a little bit complicated, especially for those of you who are not the greatest at cooking like me. I'm still learning myself. So I'm going to be showing you guys a bunch of tips and tricks for how to recreate this. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you guys what mangu and the tres golpes are. That actually includes, obviously, the plátano, green plantain. That's going to be the base of the dish to make the mangu itself. And then the three golpes are actually the things that you can accompany the dish with, which is egg, which we have right here, and we're going to be doing some fried cheese, and then normally you're supposed to use Dominican salami, but as you guys may know, there's been a lot of changes with things in the grocery stores due to COVID-19, and there was actually a shortage in Dominican salami, but we're going to be using some smoked pork chops to substitute for the salami, which still is really delicious for this dish. And that's pretty much what you need for the three golpes, and I will be inserting a picture right here of what it looks like. Okay, so let's just start right away with making the mangu. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you wash your hands, and then you're going to want to wash all of your plantains, just because a hack to make this mangu is that we're actually not going to be peeling them completely to boil them. We're going to be boiling them with the skin still on them. So you want to make sure that it's nice and clean, because that's going to be going into the pot to be boiled eventually. And then also make sure that if your plantains have these stickers on them, make sure that you either peel that off or scrape it off with a knife, cut it off with a knife, just because you don't want that to be boiled into your dish at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and wash these thoroughly with soap and a sponge. And we have the sticker right here. So with a knife, I'm going to gently peel that off. So now that I've already washed my plantains, I actually went ahead and washed these already and cut the ends off them, but I'm going to be showing you guys how I cut the ends off of these ones that I just washed. And you want to make sure you cut this off, because once you do cook your plantains and you start mashing them, you don't want any of that brown stuff to be in the dish. So you're going to just go ahead and cut that off like so. And you see how it's clear right here? There's no like excess black stuff. That's good. If any black stuff does come out, you're going to want to just keep cutting the ends until it's nice and clean. And then just go ahead and put that aside. And you're going to keep doing your next one. This one has, as you can see, it has a little bit of brown right there. So I'm just going to cut a little bit more, and that's better. And go ahead and do the other side. Perfect. Okay, so what you want to do next is you're going to start cutting your plantains in half. So they should be looking like this once you slice them in half. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing that, and then I'm going to be putting them into my large pot that I already have here, just so it's easier to be adding them in. And once I've filled that up with all of the plantains, then I'm going to go ahead and add the water to cover them all. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting them. So you're going to go in half first, and then you're going to slice again in half, horizontal. Okay, so now that I've already cut in half and sliced in half all of my plantains, they should look something like this in your pot. And just to give you guys an idea, I used about 10 full plantains, and that should be good enough for about 4 people. So next we're going to be adding cold water into my pot so that we can start boiling it. And when you add the water, make sure it covers all of the plantain. Just like that should be good enough. So keep in mind that the plantains do float in the water, so you want to make sure that it's about ½ an inch above the plantains of water once they're all submerged in there. And then we're going to go ahead and put that on our stove to boil. I'm going to add salt to taste. That's whatever you prefer the amount. I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons into the water. Once it boils, we're going to take the cover off. I will see you guys then. So now that we have our plantains boiling here, as you can see, we're going to taste the water a little bit to see if it has enough salt. Just get a little bit of water, just a little bit, and I'm going to try it on my hand. So it does need a little bit more salt, so I'm going to go ahead and add that. I'm just going to add about 1 spoonful of additional salt and give it another mix. So we're just gonna leave that in there for a couple more minutes. The plantains are almost done. We're just gonna wait for them to get a little bit more of that salt flavor before we take them out. The plantain skin is already starting to come off. That's when you know that it's time to start taking those peels out of the pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Like I said, this is a hack. See how easy and clean it comes off? There's no need to peel them in the beginning if that's something you struggle with, like myself. So when you're taking the skin off, you're still leaving the plantain in there because you want it to cook for a little bit more. Okay, so next what you're going to want to do to finish it off is you're going to want to add a cup of just really cold water. And that's going to seal the plantains and help them finish cooking. So that's the last thing you're going to want to do. Once you add the cold water, it's going to cook for a little bit more and it's going to be done. So for 10 plantains, which is what I cooked here, they boiled for about 35 minutes. Again, that depends on how many plantains you have in your pot boiling. Okay, so now that our plantains are finished and boiled, we're going to start mashing them. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to start taking them out of the pot where you boiled them. Make sure that there's not water in it. So if you have a spoon with holes at the bottom, that would be the easiest. I'm going to be using this more heavy duty masher. So we're just going to start mashing it just like you would mashed potatoes. Mash it, mash it, mash it. And then we're going to add butter as we go. So I'm going to start with about 1 spoon. And again, the butter that you add is to taste. Another hack that you need to do, and you need to do it quick before your plantain cools off, you need to add a little bit of water that has ice in it, really cold. That's going to create contrast in the texture of your plantain. The hot and the cold makes that the plantain gets really soft. If you don't do that, your plantain, or your MANGU I should say, is going to be really hard. I'm going to add also a little bit of olive oil, so more like a tablespoon. Really get that integrated. That's how you make your MANGU. And like they say in the DR, the name MANGU came from somebody who tried it and said, man, good. Look it up to see if it's true or not. Okay guys, so that's pretty much it for the MANGU portion of it. And I want to mention again that keep in mind that I'm by no means an expert at cooking or making MANGU, but I'm also learning with you guys, and I'm following, of course, my mom's recipe and my grandma's, who make it really good. So I know and hope that mine came out just as good, if not better. So this is what the MANGU final stage looks like. Plantain version of a mashed potato. We're gonna go ahead and move right along and start prepping the fried cheese. So what you're gonna want to do is you're going to take your cheese and you're gonna want to cut that into some slices. So make sure that the cheese that you do use says that it's cheese for frying, because if you get any other cheese, it is not going to work. If you try to get like mozzarella, Kobe Jack, cheddar, whatever, it's just gonna melt when you're frying it and it's gonna defeat the purpose of it. This cheese is specifically for this. It remains solid throughout the frying process. You don't want to make them too thin, because then when you fry them, it's going to be harder to like pick them up and keep them together. Perfect. Once you have your cheese cut up like this, you're going to want to have a plate or some kind of container where you're going to be putting your flour that you're going to be dipping your cheese in. So when you dip your cheese, you want to make sure that you're coating it on all of the sides. Now that we have all of our cheese coated in the flour, and you're going to want to add just a little bit of oil, not too much, because you're not deep frying it. You're just trying to get the cheese a little bit golden crispy. A quick little trick is to check when your oil's ready is you can get a toothpick and you can dip it in your oil, and if it starts to sizzle, that means it's hot. We're going to start frying our cheese. "30 seconds on each side should do it for you. Just enough to get it golden." Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the second golpe, making our smoked pork chops. And for that, we're actually going to be frying those up a little bit on the stove. And then I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a topping, like an onion topping, to add on top of the smoked pork chops, that once they're fried, it's going to give it really good flavor. Cut the ends. And then you're going to take that first layer off. And then you're just going to slice in circles. Make them as thick or as thin as you'd like. And then you're going to add them into your container. So then you want to cut your lime. So you're going to cut that in half. And you're going to squeeze half of that into the onion. You're going to add a little bit of salt. Just like a pinch. Again, that's to taste. Toss it. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of just the juice. Lime, the onion, and a little bit of salt into this mangu. That's going to give it a little extra kick. Keep mashing it up. So now let's move on to frying the pork chops. I'm only going to be frying them for a little bit, because since these are smoked, they're kind of already pre-cooked, and I just want them to get a little bit of a crisp coating on them, but don't want to over fry them, just because then they get dry and we don't want that. Okay, so these are pretty much done. Just kind of cook them for about 1 minute on each side. We're gonna move on to frying our egg. You repeat for how many ever eggs you want to make. Okay, so now with the onions that we still have here, that we prepped earlier, we're going to just fry them up a little bit. This step is optional. It gives the whole dish a little extra flavor too. If you like your onions to be more crispy, you can leave them on for longer. And there you have it, guys. That is it. Here we have our mangu with the tres golpes, and this is the final result of what it should look like. Looks so delicious, and I can't wait to try it. So we have our fried cheese, we have the smoked pork chops substituting the salami, and we have our mangu obviously, and then our fried egg. So I'm gonna see what that first bite tastes like. So good. This is amazing, guys, and I recommend all of you to try it. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember that I'm not an expert and I'm learning with you guys as well. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And comment down below what other recipes you guys want to see me try out. If there's anything in particular, I'm going to be putting out other recipes and me trying other Dominican foods. So stay tuned for those. And also remember that I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and I'm going to be doing that as soon as I hit 100 subscribers. We're so close. So let's get those subscribers up and stay tuned for that. See you guys next time. Bye.